Hey y'all, it's Dave Parrots, the Fund CXO and founder of Signal Fund Services. We're going to be continuing our series today on the minimum viable VC fund operations with episode 7, talking about how to plan out some of the major back office jobs to be done. If you're a GP, LP, service provider, or fund operator operating in the VC ecosystem, this series is for you. We're going to be pulling back the curtain on how modern venture funds are built and how they operate day to day. And in today's episode, we're not going to just give you a list of the major jobs to be done, which may be pretty obvious. What we're going to talk about is how to plan them out and hopefully plant a seed for most of those GPs out there thinking about how to use the precious resources they have to accomplish some of these responsibilities. So, as you've heard me say many times, Rome isn't built in a day. And if you are a later stage firm and you have resources and specialized talent, then you should be able to handle the complexity of the additional requests from LPs or the additional fiduciary or legal or regulatory requirements. But what we're going to talk about today is when you have to do all of these things, whether it's fiduciary, legal, regulatory, or just being a good business owner, but you have limited resources. You have limited time. You may not have a full team yet. You may be operating on a reduced budget than what you will have one day. And so, how do you make all of that work through people, process, and technology to accomplish these major back office jobs? So, what we like to do is build out a very simple plan. So, you want to take a list of some major things. Now, this is just back office jobs. And what we'll show on the next slide is that is a small fraction of what a GP has to prioritize and what a GP has to manage. So, while we're just talking about one specific small piece today, there's already quite a bit to do. And if you're a solo GP or a small team, it's kind of important that you plan all this out. So we have a process, very simple and straightforward. We like to first prioritize our efforts. What's most important to you now? Is it fundraising? Is it getting the fund closed? Is it building out the portfolio? Is it hiring and building out the capacity of the team, right? You got to prioritize what's important. Then you need to list out the major events. There's a big brainstorming session, sticky notes, dry erase board, but you got to list out all those major things you want to do. You got to think about it from a whole business perspective, right? You've got top of funnel activities for marketing and sales and platform. You've got the finance and ops pieces in the back office. You want to build a team and take on new service providers, new tech stack, new tools. You also have to do all of that while still driving returns for the fund, managing the relationships with your LPs, driving returns with your founders, finding the next deal. There's a lot to do when you list out all these major events. So then we take all of that and we overlay it onto a calendar, right? And immediately you start to see where some of these friction points, where you just have a very, very busy March and April. And so once you kind of recognize that you have these places where you want to put, so much energy and effort, but there's so many competing priorities, then we get into the real art of planning. You want to assign specific responsible people to an outcome, make sure they know they own it, right? You want to make sure they have the resources available to actually complete it. And then as you're going through this process, you're going to always have to deconflict. So you have to keep iterating as the resources change or as the facts coming to you change. But if you do this and you keep it high level, you keep it on a kind of pro forma basis, you can change this pretty easily, update the team. And this is what managing and delegating ultimately is, right? So, what does it look like when you do it in real life? So we'll build out a synchronized plan with our clients. And we do this through our back office assessment and kind of strategic plan building. But we're going to build you out a very simple kind of systems engineering way of looking at all the different tasks you have to do. So we'll start out building out some big swim lanes, things like drivers of return, right? That's a top priority. You want to make sure you're getting the right deal pacing, you're communicating with your LPs. If you're thinking about fundraising, how you're planning that out along with the deals that you may have to do and different thresholds you may have to hit. And then you've always got the constant burn of portfolio support and helping those founders out. You may choose to do founder events, or you help them with fundraising, or you're helping them with commercial opportunities. So there might be little sprints that you do to help out the portfolio. And then in our world, we have day-to-day operations. Finance and ops is a big piece of that, but there's so much more that's just not on this plan that if you were to build out a more detailed version of this, you'd have platform and marketing and all these other different, pieces of your business. But even right here, you can start to see that there's a lot to do. And if you're on a quarterly cycle, a lot of this repeats. And so you have to figure out how much time it takes to prep for things, how much it takes to do them, and is there any follow-up required afterwards? Plan this all out and then start to identify where maybe you have some issues. Maybe you're trying to put 10 pounds of shit into a 5 pound bag and it just isn't going to work. You don't have enough leaders or you're trying to do too much at that time. Space it out, reorganize it, really be ruthless about your prioritization of effort. And usually there's a result that comes out. So if you're interested in this, we do this as part of our back office assessment. We'll come in, we'll do a quick health check, give you an internal report card on how you stack up. Are you meeting institutional LP table stakes? Do you have the systems, the tools, the people, the process, the technology to meet their expectations? We'll help you build out that strategic plan that I just showed you in much more detail. And we'll help you build out a few other tools, thinking about the risk associated with your business, helping you think about how to maintain all the information and make good decisions. We'll give you tools to help you do this well. So if this is something that's interests you, please let us know. We reached at Dave at Signal Fund Services. Please connect on LinkedIn or send me an email. Would love to talk. Happy to help you think about planning out your back office operations. Talk soon.